Hey, welcome back to the VO Life. This week we have a great interview with a guy that is jumped in full-time and ended up with another full-time job from home, and he's still doing VO. But listen to this smooth, conversational style of Michael Robbins.
A legend returns, proving that even an icon can evolve. The new Ford Bronco, with more power and ready-for-anything attitude than ever. As a photographer, people, cutting-edge products, landscapes, and architecture are my passion. My work is always changing and takes me anywhere in a moment's notice, which is one of the many reasons I trust my iPad Pro to handle whatever I throw at it. Del Taco has got your craving for jumbo shrimp tacos handled. Get 2 for just $5 from the place where everything is fresh as Del. And even better, let our delivery partners DoorDash and Postmates bring them to you. Each day brings new challenges and opportunities. We're proud of who we are and what we believe. We see you because we are you. Bank of America. Looking great from head to toe is easier for some than others. I score great deals on the trendiest styles from top brands, which is why I look as great as I do. Click your way to style with Amazon Fashion. Samuel Adams puts family first. Remember where you've been and where you want to go. So raise a glass or a bottle and toast to the important people in your life. Samuel Adams Beer. Hi, Troy. Thanks for having me on.
Man, we are glad to have you, and we are putting together a full episode of folks who are into VO for different reasons. And you and I were both in Bill DeWeese's VO blueprint. And I think we left the same month, but maybe you had been there a little longer. And I just, for some reason, I said, I'm going to reach out to him through Facebook and just say, hey, let's keep in touch. And we did that. And then here we are on the ladder and doing this stuff together. But your story is a little different. You didn't get into this mainly like a lot of us did during COVID as a part-time side gig or something to do. You had to jump in full-time pretty quick.
Yes, I was working for a company that let me go in end of April, and it was a surprise to me. Now, just prior to that, in March, because I've been doing audiobooks for like this month, it's 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I had been doing audiobooks on ACX. I've been wanting to do voiceover at some point. Full-time, I was doing things for the company I was working for, and I still am, doing their internet ads, 4 Wheel Parts.
Right.
So I had been doing that as a side gig, doing the audiobooks as a side gig, and my daughter was going to move in to go to school in a city about 40 miles away, so I didn't have any space to record anymore. So I decided to get a booth built in March, so about a month before the COVID just really took hold. And, everything just kind of went. I got let go, and I said, you know what? I'm going to try to do this full time. I've always wanted to do it, and I know it's not easy. And, of course, I knew about Bill DeWeese and the Booth Junkie and so many things to look at on YouTube. It's unreal, including the VO Journey guy, the Fiverr. What's his name?
Oh, Anthony Pica.
Anthony, yes. Yeah. I had been looking at his videos, too. And then I decided to just do it. I joined Voices. I had been in Voices a couple years prior just to kind of play around with it. And, there's a lot. There's a lot to learn when you're kind of wanting to get and jump into it. And I kind of knew a lot of stuff already. And I was good at the audiobooks. I'd already been doing advertisements for 4 Wheel Parts on their, every month. I'd be doing stuff for them. And then I said, I can do this full time. I'm going to try it. And, here it is almost a year later, and I'm doing it, but it's, as everyone says, it truly is a marathon. I found some success on Voices, as everyone calls it, VDC. So I found some success there. I've played around with Fiverr. I can't stand the customers, to be honest with you, but I know I need to do better with Fiverr, so I need to maybe get the gig doctor in and clean things up. So Voices, I have some private clients I do work with, Right now, I have probably 4 steady clients right now every month, but it's not enough to satisfy what I was making previously.
Right.
So I'm still toying on whether to do it full-time and continue, or should I get a part-time or a full-time gig? I'm still thinking about that. But my heart and my soul wants to do this full-time.
I got you. So, yeah, and having to jump in it, you don't really have a lot of choices to try to go get the work. I mean, you've got to go where you can. A lot of people know my story. I started learning, I was doing some things where I work, actually, same type thing, but COVID things. People are coming back to work, and let's do a video so we don't have to have training every time we bring back a group of people. So we did an internal slideshow. I did the voice on it. And somebody said, do you know you can make a living doing that? And I'm like, I always heard you could, but then I started looking at it. I was trying to, I even reached out to, I heard a lady on talk radio in Nashville say that she did voiceover, and I reached out to her on Facebook, and she completely shut me down, wouldn't even talk to me. And I ended up going to a local radio station, talking to the owner there. He listened to some of the really bad stuff I had done, and he said, you got a lot of raw ability, but you're really going to have to work at it. And that was when I joined Bill's thing for a while. It's tough. It's very tough. And when we tell people it's a marathon, we're not kidding. I have seen a couple of people get very quick success, and I scratch my head sometimes and wonder, how in the world did they get this much this fast? Yeah. And when I see these guys that have been around a long time and they're having $8,000 and $10,000 months on Fiverr, I believe it. I get it, because I've had a near $1,000 month there, and I did not know what I was doing. So it can happen, and I believe in it. It's just very difficult. The faucet turns off as fast as it turns on. But so when you went to voices.com, and this is what a lot of people want to hear. How many auditions did you do before the first job when you went back the second time?
When I went back the second time, you mean from when I joined up in May 1st of 2020?
Yeah.
I joined back up then. And when I started having success I was starting to get some gigs after I had coaching with Mike Hathcote. I had coaching. I had a really good focus on the sincere, the conversational style, and that seems to be the work that I'm getting now. And that has really helped a lot. His coaching helped me a lot. So I have to agree with everyone that says that you need to get coaching continually throughout what you're doing, and I totally agree with that, and they are absolutely correct on that.
Right.
But I started getting some work in September and October, and it started kicking up in November and December, and I'm still getting some work. It still doesn't make up for a full-time gig, but with the other stuff I'm doing, it's definitely added on nicely.
Good.
So I have done. I was going to pull it up here. Let me pull it up, and I'll tell you exactly what I've got.
Okay.
What I've done since I've joined.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that with a lot of people, they got to understand. It takes some patience with that platform. I know I did. I don't remember 125 auditions before I got, and in all honesty, the 6 jobs I've had, 2 or 3 of them are kind of goofy. They weren't really what I'd call Voices.com caliber. One of them was a fake Saturday Night Live introduction for a company because they were having some kind of thing. Yeah, it was a job. It paid okay. Another one was, I forget, some kind of intro to some kind of game or something, and it was okay. But I had a couple on there that were good, a DoorDash and a Jack and Jones Denim, but all the others were kind of, But it's better than nothing, and I tell you, my experience on there is those auditions, I would almost pay to get all those scripts to read. They are that good.
Yeah,
and you're reading.
There's some really good ones.
You're reading for Fox Sports. You're reading for Verizon. You're reading for IBM. All kinds of big companies, and these are very well crafted scripts. And heck yeah, I keep my demos, and I go back and play them and try to make them better. I didn't get that job, so what could I have done different, and pick them apart. So I like it for that too. So back to how many you did.
Since May 1st, I have received 954 invitations. I have submitted 860 auditions. I've had 609 auditions, 609 audition listens. My booking ratio is 61-1, and I've been hired for 16 jobs.
That's and I've heard an average booking ratio is pretty close to that, anywhere from 50 to 60-1. So you're right there at it.
40 is like the really good, like when you're really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've heard somebody say they were like 28-1. I said, well, you're either picking the right stuff to audition for. You're very picky. But what's disheartening too is the difference between the number of auditions you do and the number that actually are listened to. Sometimes that breaks my heart. I'll do a really good read on something and they never listen to it and the job closes. I'm like, huh.
I find it really hard to just, and you've heard it, and I think we've even talked about it, just some people just say, I just do it and I just move on and I forget about it. I don't. I kind of brew on it. I think you do too. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of us do because we want to learn what the heck did I do wrong or why didn't they choose me? But you know what? The competition is pretty damn stiff. I mean,
yes,
I got a Coleman. My best one that I've gotten was like 3 weeks ago, I think, and that was for Coleman camping, and that was a directed session, and that was freaking awesome. And
those are fun.
That is a nice feather in my personal cap, and I tell you what, there were 82 people that are on that were I was picked out of 81 or 82 people.
Wow,
something like that.
Wow. Yeah.
So
that is a good
I felt
feeling.
very lucky.
That's a good feeling. So let's talk about another little thing on there, short list.
Yes.
Out of the 6 jobs I've won, 1 was a short list. The other 5 were not.
Wow.
So sometimes I wonder how important that is, but I'm early. I'm early in the game, so I don't really know.
I've had probably, out of the jobs that I've gotten, I probably had 2 or 3 that I was not shortlisted for, but the majority of them were.
I'll be darned. See, you just
and
never know.
I've had 137 short lists out of the 860 auditions I've submitted.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it says here. So, whatever.
Yeah, my daily routine on there once I'm done auditioning is I go through and anything that's completed, I archive it and get it out of there, and then I look at how many short lists do I have left that have not gotten awarded, and I kind of hope, but I've kind of lost hope on the short list part. I wish I didn't. And we talk about chasing down what happened. I was on that Fox Sports thing a couple weeks ago when I got shortlisted.
I remember you posting that.
Yeah, and I thought, I want to hear the guy that won it. I want to watch the game and hear it. Well, I missed the game, but they put it on YouTube. And when I heard it, I was like, oh, my gosh. It wasn't that much better of a read, but I have never heard a voice that freaking deep in my life.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it was phenomenal. And I said, well, I couldn't have beat that no matter what.
He had the deep voice.
Oh, he had the beyond cinematic growl, grovel, whatever. And they didn't ask for that in the audition, but I'm sure when they heard that guy, they went, oh, yeah, we'll take him. But, they were asking for 60 to 70-year-old gritty elderly. And then it ends up being cinematic, so that's okay. It's still a lot of fun. I have gotten, I got a couple of radio commercials on there COVID commercials actually, both of them were, and I love. They're not quite as bad as direct radio. They don't try to put 100 words in 30 seconds, but they're sure going to get all 75 in there.
Holy cow! These people that want to shove. I did this Irish one. They wanted to shove like 96 words in. Was it 15 seconds? I don't know. It was something really insane.
Yeah,
I can't do it that. I tried. I couldn't do it.
Right. So we touched a little on Fiverr too. Fiverr is fickle, as we know. It has a lot to do with. Has a lot to do with proper algorithms and the things that they do. And I would encourage you, if you get a chance to work with the Gig Doctor, it helps. I did it early on, and I'm probably off track again. And yesterday I was up to 17 gigs, and I pulled 9 of them down. I paused them. They say you can
17 gigs. I didn't know you had that many.
Yeah, and they say you can change them around. The thing with me, I couldn't keep up with the pricing. If I wanted to change something, somebody could go to another one and get a cheaper price, and I was trying not to get into all that, but it worked out. Getting them honed down.
if I can stay away from Fiverr, I'll be happy. I know I need to play in that pond, shall we say, but the customers, the people, it's what they want, what they demand. I've never experienced that with my private gigs or, my direct customers or even on Voices. I mean, people are very professional and matter of fact, and if they don't like it, they'll say, hey, can you do this? And then you give a couple takes and they're happy.
Right.
But something about Fiverr, the people on that, they expect this unrealistic, I don't know. I need to get over that, but it's really weird.
I wouldn't say that. I think you're in a better avenue than a lot of us that start up. We all start up with the, I guess, quote unquote, pay to plays, Fiverr, Upwork, whatever, Voquent. I think Voices.com and direct work is the way to go if we can get our marketing tools sharp and do it. I think that's difficult.
The direct truly is. I couldn't agree more. And Mike's method of going through LinkedIn and going through that process, that has actually worked for me. So that is very helpful to go through that search function that they have on there.
Yeah, I have two direct clients. One is, oddly enough, it's a YouTube channel. And they somehow got my name. They saw me on Fiverr, heard it, and they went on the internet and found my website and contacted me direct. So that was okay.
They weren't lazy.
No, they weren't lazy about it. And actually, they pay more per episode than anybody else I've got.
Cool.
The other one I have is a Christian production company that does lead-ins for. I guess kind of Sunday service things where
I've heard that.
Record
You've played some of that. It's really good.
Yeah, and I enjoy those, but you talk about cheap, like an intro is $8, an outro is $12. But
holy cow. But
the thing is, it's exposure. There's no other way my voice would be playing on KKLA radio. No other way.
Right.
So I got to take it for what it is, and maybe it'll.
You got to pay the dues. It can't always be, $1,000 jobs or whatever. It can't. It just isn't going to be that.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
So if you want to give advice to someone that maybe, let's say they've been in this for 6 months and they fall into this trap that, hey, my job's going to go away. They're closing down.
Right.
What's advice you'd give them if they're thinking about jumping in full time? What do they need to be prepared for, or what to look after?
I think if they have no other avenue of making money, they need to find that avenue and develop it on the side before you jump in both feet. It's just not, I don't think it's realistic at this point with all of the people that are doing what we're doing right now who are just starting out because of COVID. Actors, I mean, I did this play, a radio play. I don't know when it's going to go up, but I did a radio play. I was the narrator, and I did a Mr. Rogers voice and another voice for it while we were doing it. And everybody there was an actor who was a main character.
Wow.
One girl worked in Disney World. She was in Florida, and she was amazing. There was another girl who was on Voices. I think her name was Lana. She was freaking unreal, but she was also an actress. And you could tell her delivery, it was so good.
Right.
So these people were doing this on the side. There was another guy, Mike Mako Ursay, I think his name was, and he was crazy talented. And I Googled all these guys and looked them up while we were, in the sessions and just looking at their Voices page. And that was interesting, to see what they did and how they did it, and they were all good. But, there's a lot of people like that who are actors and actresses, and they're doing this on the side as well to make income on the side. So I imagine they're probably also up on Fiverr, just like we are.
Sure.
And, having varied degree of success. I did hear one of the girls who was really good. She was commenting on just it's hard to get work on Voices. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
She didn't have any reviews. She didn't have anything going on, and she was crazy talented. So
wow.
Yeah,
it is. It's tough. It is very tough. And I often wonder, too, how many start a month and how many quit a month. You got to wonder because you see a lot of dead gigs on Fiverr, no activity, and you see stuff on there that hasn't been touched. You got to wonder. But that does give some folks some inspiration, though. Your story is very interesting, and to know that you having the audiobook background, yes, definitely
that
help.
is
Definitely
that
a
is
help.
probably the biggest thing you can do. And I think I've heard that from several of the others. That getting started on ACX /Audible is the best way to get started in that, and then kind of try to branch out, get some coaching where you can. But starting out doing audiobooks, I've learned so much just by doing that, aside from doing all the other stuff that I've done in between in its sense. You really need to do things on the side before you go full time. And audiobooks a great way to start. Definitely recommend doing that.
Very cool. Very cool.
So,
hey, I very much appreciate your time. I know we're in crazy different time zones, and I appreciate you
you're
being
only
patient
2
with
hours
me.
from me, Troy.
Yeah, I know. And it's,
2 hours
it's
ahead of
something
me.
how, I feel as close to a lot of my voiceover friends that I only meet with online that I do with people I know here in my town. It's kind of crazy. We got a kinship going. It's really nice. And appreciate you being part of our voiceover ladder and all. So with that, we will say adieu as we build this episode, and we thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Troy, and everyone who's listening. Climb the ladder and, just don't quit. I think that's probably the biggest thing, is not to quit and just be persistent and listen to your compatriots here and the other forums that you may be on as well, because you can really learn a lot. And not a lot of people in the past have given so much away from giving information away freely, because voiceover has always been this little secret world for so long. That's the way I see it. And the groups, Facebook, are very giving, and you can learn a ton from paying attention there.
I agree. You can learn a lot from others' mistakes, and you can learn from their knowledge as well, and many will share. All right,
we all are learning while we do this, that's for sure.
Well, again, we want to thank Michael for being here and joining us, and that was a while back. However, still very relevant, and wishing him all the best in his new work-from-home spot and his continued work in voiceover. Don't give up that dream, Michael. You're fantastic person, fantastic voice. Hope you enjoyed it, and join us again next time right here on the VO Life.